Hey to the most amazing nurses. It is Dr. V here with Morning Infusion with Dr. V podcast, where we are intentional about teaching nurses how to work from anywhere around the world, making money and owning your own time, building profitable nurse coaching and consulting businesses. You will hear from amazing guests that have grown their companies and want to share insight into how you can do the same to change the face of healthcare as we know it. If you want to grow your businesses and leverage your knowledge as a nurse to grow wildly successful businesses at the top, instead of working your way to the top, head on over and join our Millionaire Nurse CEO group on Facebook, where you can ask questions and get updates on our live and virtual events to help you grow your businesses. Good morning. So I'm super excited. So today we have Yeaka Jefferson. Okay. So Yeaka Jefferson, like she's the resident guru in travel nursing. Okay. Now, if you have to tell me something about travel nursing, if you have to ask me, that would be a whole hot mess. But Yeaka is the guru. So now I'll ask that you like, share, comment, tell us what you like, tell us what you don't like, tell us, all those things. But first, Yeaka, tell us who you are in your own words.
Hi, I'm Yeaka. I am a travel nurse. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. I am
all things. I love it. Okay, so Yeaka, tell us, because we always kind of start back at what happened that you became a nurse. What happened was.
Well, yeah. So, well, when I originally started, I wasn't married, but I got married along the way.
Mm-hmm.
To a person that I was married to for like 24 years and counting, I guess. And I can only say that that marriage was a struggle for me. So it kind of helped me to want to go ahead and get my nursing license. Okay. So I became an LPN at first, and then I went on for registered nursing. Which
how long were you an LPN?
I was an LPN for 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
You to get your RN degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. And that caused problems in our marriage from the beginning. Me having the spirit that I have to be, I'm more independent. I'm not one of those people who need somebody else to tell them what to do. But yeah, that caused problems in my marriage. I can't say I hate to say it, but my husband was pretty much a narcissist. It was his way or the highway kind of thing. So that's how that kind of went.
And before you got married, what were you doing? Like, what were you doing during the marriage? Becoming a nurse, I should say.
As a nurse?
No, before you became a nurse, what was your job?
Oh, before I became a nurse, I was a CNA.
Okay. Yeah. So now, tell me a little bit about the marriage. Tell me a little bit about like when did you know that things were probably not good?
I can only say when you love somebody, you're kind of blinded by, and other people will say stuff, but you would be like, kind of blow it off, because if you love somebody, you look past the red flags and the only thing you see is whatever's good in them. I don't, So when it probably was, maybe it was 20 years, maybe it was 19 years. Just before COVID really got in a good swing, probably about October or something like that. Well, I was running into some financial problems, and we were living like, paycheck to paycheck, as most people do. but it was my paycheck to my paycheck, and with no help. So over the course of the marriage, we had this talk over and over again, like, I need some help. I'm not the only one in this marriage, and I shouldn't be the one that's carrying it. And that was the final straw for me. Like, we were living in a hotel, believe it or not. We ended up living in a hotel because I just refused to pay. I was paying somebody else's mortgage, like in a rental home or whatever, which, it was good for us when I was able to raise my, son there and in that area. It was, it was good for that purpose. And that was one of the only reasons why I, stayed around for so long, because my parents was married until one of them left, and my father passed. So they had been married for like 60 years. So I was raised in a home like that. If anybody can kind of sympathize with, like what that is. So when you marry somebody, you're supposed to be with them for forever, ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least that's kind of how I was raised. But I don't know. It was like something came over me in 2020, and I was like, you know what? I'm just over this. My son graduated high school. It was the next year, and I'm like, we're gonna have to just find different places to live, and that's kind of how that went.
It's interesting to me how, no matter where you come from, it's the standard of marriage and what that looks like is how people typically want to live life. Like I've heard, some younger people say, well, my parents weren't together, so I stayed with them because I didn't want my children to live in a broken home, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like you, right? So my parents were married for 62 years before my father passed away. Mm-hmm. And because they were married for so long, I was like, well, this is just what I do, right? This is right. How it is. And you don't necessarily, whenever you go with the gaslighting, that happens in narcissistic. And had I not dealt with it myself, and this is one of the things that I tell people all the time. I say, the reason why you're going through things is because it is for you to help other people go through that thing, right? Because like back when I couldn't understand why you're depressed, like what is going on? Like just get up, right? Like I don't understand the whole being depressed thing. Right. But then it wasn't until I dealt with postpartum depression that I started to understand, oh, this is what that feels like. And you don't want to get up, and you just want to lay around, and you just don't want to, you just don't have the gumption to get up. But I was in a narcissistic relationship at one point in time, and so that helped me to understand the psyche behind narcissism. So so if you had to describe narcissism in just a few words, just describe it.
Well, it's really a manipulative type of energy, them to get you to do what they want you to do. And control, to have your full control over you, your life, what you do on a daily and how things are ran. That's just it. You just relinquish it to them.
That's true. And, it was funny because it's such a push and a pull, right? Mm-hmm. So they're great whenever they're great, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're bad. It's like,
yeah,
what world? Like, what is this about? And why are you acting like this? Yeah. And all you want to do is you want to get them back to that state that they are good.
Right.
And so that's when the control comes in, because it is them controlling you. And I remember the guy that I was in a relationship with, this is one of the things that he said to me. He asked me very early on, and I want to caution women against this. He asked me very early on, what is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear? And he played on that thing every single time. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So when you decided you wanted to leave, what are some of the steps that you took?
Well, first off, I went to see a counselor and to make sure I wasn't just, going through a midlife thing or what, I talked to somebody about it because um, I wanted to talk to my family, but I didn't want anybody judging me because I knew that I wanted to get out of this marriage. And again, my parents had been married for 60 something years. So, that was the thing to do when you marry somebody, right? So I did that. And then we actually end up getting into an altercation. And I went to go stay with a girlfriend of mine. And I stayed there for a few months. And after that, I ended up getting my own place. I talked to him about that I wanted to file for a divorce, and he said, "Well, like give me time." And I said, "Okay, I'll give you time, but like, how much time do you need?" And he would just say things like, "I can't believe you saying we're not together, and you're saying we're getting a divorce, and um, right, and all these things."
Play my little violin. Okay, you had 20 years to get this right. All right.
You know, we've talked about this over and over and over again, and now I feel like now that the kids are adults now, even that like now it's just me left here in the situation, and I'm like, no, it's time. I got to get out of here. It's time for me to go.
One of the things that I do have to say that whenever you are in a situation, especially when it involves kids, I think one of the best things as it relates to that is how you speak about that other parent to those kids, right? And not being mean about those other kids, those parents, right? I wrote a post, and I just want to say this because it was so enlightening for me. I wrote a post on Facebook the other day because there was a time when my child just she was not vibing with her father. And for the longest time, I wanted them to, maintain a relationship with each other. And I pushed it. I pushed it and I pushed it. One of the things that she said was, once I pushed it, now they're talking to each other. And I said that it does not matter that she has her stepfather's love, right? Her bonus father's love. It needs all the love that she can get, right? She doesn't need to have not the love of both parents. And I think, that is a great way of moving the needle there. So I'm so proud of you for taking the step and saying, I'm done. I'm finished with this. And so what are some of the things, like, tell me a little bit about, like, as far as work is concerned and what made you get into travel nursing? Because, baby.
Well, that initially when I started nursing, that's what I've asked him, like, well, I knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a travel nurse. That's what inspired me to go into nursing. So after I graduated, I let him know that was something that I wanted to do, and he said no, I couldn't do that. And since now I have taken my power back from him, I said no, this is what I'm going to do, because this is what I was supposed to do in the first place, because this is what God set out for me to do. So
did he give you rationales to the reason why he didn't want you to do it?
No, it was just, well, we have a family, and we need to be at home for the kids, and that whatever.
Well, you can take the kids with you. Okay. Yeah. There's a thing called homeschooling.
Yeah. That part. Yeah, exactly. But he wasn't, I think that was one of those control things, like to just keep me bound. And he wasn't the type of person that liked to be around people, and he didn't want me to be around other people either. So that was kind of how that went.
And I think part of it is that they don't want other people to see how they are, because, narcissistic behavior, narcissistic personality disorder, they truly, truly don't have the feelings behind what they don't have the feeling, right? Mm-hmm. And they other people to see who they truly are, because it's coming out, right? So it, initially, like, you don't see it, but if you hang around with them long enough, it's coming out.
But it did. That's what I'm saying. Like, you probably thought people didn't know, but they would say stuff, but me being, like I said, really bound up by him, I'll be like, oh, okay, it's fine, you okay, yeah. But no,
The
he
whole
really
time.
wasn't. Mm-hmm.
Defended them the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're gonna go to commercial break, and then we'll come out. We're gonna talk about this travel nursing thing, because listen, she is the travel nurse guru. So after we go to this commercial, then we'll come back and we're gonna chat about it. I became a nurse because I wanted to help heal people, to make a meaningful impact in their lives.
I was immediately attracted to her confidence.
Absolutely phenomenal. A full heart.
We just had a connection.
I spent 15 years in emergency nursing, and as I sat at the emergency desk one day, I began to see a pattern. While we cared deeply for our patients, we weren't always solving the bigger issues. We were working so hard, but many times we were only addressing symptoms, reacting to crisis, instead of preventing them. It wasn't anyone's fault, but the system wasn't designed to be proactive. And in the midst of it all, I saw nurses, amazing, compassionate nurses, completely drained. Nurses like you and me, exhausted, burned out, broken from the grind of giving everything and still feeling like it's never enough. Physically, emotionally, and financially, we were stretched to our limits. I saw it in my coworkers and I felt it in myself. That's when I realized my purpose, to create something that would support nurses, not just as caregivers, but as individuals with dreams, goals, and limitless potential.
She helped me through VP Nursing to get the systems in place to run my business to where I can be outside of my business, still have it successful, and spend more time with my family, do the things that matter.
I want to say thank you to VP for offering this opportunity to us as a community, and I look forward to her next event that's coming back in August.
I wanted to help nurses thrive, not just survive. I knew that the key to real change wasn't in climbing the corporate ladder or waiting for someone else to fix things. It was in giving nurses the tools to step in entrepreneurship, to create businesses that not only transform healthcare, but give them the freedom to live life on their own terms. My heart ached for nurses because I knew we deserved better. I wanted nurses to feel whole again, to have physical, emotional, mental, and financial freedom. And that's when I made the decision to stop waiting for the system to change and start creating something new. That's why I built the company. My mission is to help 10,000 nurses reach 6 figures and 1,000 nurses to reach 7 figures.
I have to say that this conference was absolutely amazing. It was life-changing. And I'm looking forward to working with her. I'm looking forward to her coaching me to become a $1 million nurse CEO. The testimonials, the connections that we made, it's the community that I have been praying for. And I thank God for answering all my prayers.
It's been great. It's been like overwhelmingly great.
This year, we're celebrating our first ever 7-figure nurse entrepreneur, and it's just the beginning. The Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference is your chance to step into that vision. It's not just a conference, it's a movement, a place where nurses come together to connect, to learn, to build businesses that align with their passion and purpose. If you've ever felt like there's more out there for you, this is the moment to take the leap. We can't wait to see you there. And you guys join us for that Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference. We're having an event on the 27th of December that's going to really, really transform your life. So I encourage you to sign up for that. Now we're going to get back to Yeaka, and we're going to talk about her and how she broached the travel industry. Now, you wanted to travel from the very beginning. And so what was some of the things that really made you want to travel?
Well, I always wanted to see the world, you know. Um, I don't know about other people, but I want to see how other people live and what they do. You know, if their society is like ours, what's different about being over um in Asia than it is over in the United States? What's different about being in Africa than it is in the United States? You know, what's the difference? Is there a difference, or do we just call things different things because we speak different languages, or what is that all about? So that was my inspiration there.
I love it. So when you first start traveling, what are some of the things that happened that made you want to become the travel guru that you are today? By the way, she has a coaching program for y'all travel nurses out there. So if you want to become a travel nurse, you need to seek out Yeaka, okay? Empress Consulting. So go ahead.
Yeah. So, traveling isn't an easy job, and especially doing it on a budget. Okay. Eating out, housing, and making sure you have you're able to get from point A to point B to the job site to wherever your location of living and stuff like that. In different states it's different ways, and it's just it could be really um what's
Challenging.
yeah, it could be really challenging.
I mean, we travel.
The challenge.
I mean, we travel, and I cannot imagine, like, because traveling in Texas is a whole different ball game than traveling in New York.
Absolutely.
Like they're like night and day. Like you probably got to have a vehicle to travel in Texas,
Right?
but you gonna walk everywhere in New York, and you gonna get on that.
You don't catch that subway, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so though that inspired me to do this, because a lot of us don't know that. We don't know. We're just going to different states, and we're probably spending tons of money on this and that, and but if you know better, you'll do better. So yeah, that kind of
It's
helps.
really interesting too, as it relates to kind of how you when it comes to housing and where to find the housing at, so it's safe, because you'll be traveling by yourself, those things.
And that, yeah, because you don't know the different areas, and you don't know what to look for if you're looking for a place to live. You don't know that kind of stuff, really. You don't know the questions to ask. At least I didn't. I can't say that everybody don't, but I didn't. So it was a learning experience for me, and it was an adjustment. Each and every assignment was, it was different. Yeah.
I love it. So what is probably the number one piece of advice you would give to someone who is embarking on their travel journeys? Like if I were to go, because listen, I was like, I don't know them people. Okay. That was me. I was like, I'm gonna stay right here where I'm at. I know these, I have a hard time figuring out the policy procedures here. I mean, how am I gonna figure out all over the world? I was like, how we gonna do this? Like, I can't stand that policy and procedure book, and then we're gonna go somewhere else, and I gotta learn the whole book over again, and I gotta do it in 13 weeks, and how we gonna do that? I was like, nope, I'm gonna stay right here. So tell me, what are some of the things that you would give? Like, what's some great advice you would give?
Like, make sure you, well, actually, the great advice I would give you is to consult Empress Consulting. They can help you with that. They can help you with that. But the number one thing you should know is make sure you're doing your research.
Do your research.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Because it can be scheduled, especially if you're. Have you ever crossed what is it, a strike line? Is that what it is?
Actually, I haven't, but yes, I do know people who have. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
It is interesting because they call them scab nurses, right?
Right.
Is that an acronym, or is it just what they call them?
I think that is what they call them because they're crossing the line. But the thing is, you know, I hate the fact that, you know, some of us have to do that, but, you know, that's just what it is.
You know, I think that one of the things that kind of troubled me about the whole scab nursing thing is that they're going to find the help that they need.
They will.
And they're going to put out the money to find the help that they need.
And
so there's no reason for you to get all torn out your frame. There's no reason. They're going to make sure that those patients are taken care of. And so at the end of the day, you know, I don't know what the real true solutions are, but I know that the real true solutions is not nurse against nurse, you know, bullying or being violent and things of that nature. I just, there is nowhere in the world where I think that is ever appropriate.
Correct. I don't think so either. And that's also with travel nursing, Dr. B, because I think some reason they think we're crossing them. And, you know, the nurses that actually work at the facilities that we travel to.
Oh, you have to deal with that too as well.
Yeah. That's a challenge in every state, at every facility, because they don't feel like we belong.
And you help them navigate that particular piece as well.
Yeah, I do. That's one of the pieces I help them navigate, as well as getting their license and things like that.
Yeah, because let me tell you something. Getting that New York and that California license, it took me forever.
Yeah, California's a mess.
Oh, yeah. It took me a whole year to get a California license.
Mm-hmm.
And I let it go, of course, because what we're not going to do is do nothing else clinical, okay? I'm going to keep the one here. And that's going to be it. Okay?
I hear you.
So if the people are trying to find you, where would they find you?
You can find me on all of the social media. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. Those are the major three, I think. Oh, and TikTok. I think, yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, listen, if y'all want to do some travel nursing, you need to go follow Yeaka, because
I do.
come to VP Nurse and talk about some travel nursing, okay? Because you're gonna be sorely missed. You're gonna be like, I'm just gonna guide you. I'm just gonna push you right on over to Yeaka, because it's important that you have the ability to be able to understand that landscape. It is not easy. I know it is not easy. I've never been on the other side of it, but I've been on this side of it. And, you know, and the reality is that it can be, the biases are there for travel nurses, right? And because the biases are there, then you have to have someone to help you navigate that, as well as all the other things that you have to navigate, whether it's traveling by yourself, whether it is finding housing, whether it is all the things that you need to do research for. So Yeaka and Brisk Consulting can definitely get you all the way together on that.
Yeah.
So I look forward to seeing you, everyone who wants to do travel nursing, in her inbox. Okay, so go ahead and get in her inbox. So again, we have the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference coming up February 21st and 22nd. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to learn a lot about AI, business contracting. We're going to learn about trust, right? You want your babies to be trust fund babies. And there's just so many, things that we want you to learn. Because at the end of the day, our goal is for nurses to be wealthy, healthy, able to thrive. And so join us for the Millionaire Nurse CEO Conference. And again, like, share, and comment. And we look forward to seeing y'all later. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.